Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Maria Sorreo. I am here today at the Annex with Dr. Greg Allen. He is the founder of Freedom for You. And Greg, you are going to be putting together a panel discussion called The State of Our Teens. Let's talk a little bit about that. It's going to take place on Wednesday, February 15th between 6:30 and 8 in the promenade, in the community room over there on the promenade on the Peninsula. How did this come together, and why did you feel it was important to do this?
I think that personally, working as a therapist in the community and talking to other individuals that work with youth, whether it's schools or community groups or youth organizations, that I think that there's important to kind of pass on some information about what, how are our teens doing, what's going on with them, what are the risks, and there'll be definitely time for questions and answers and strategy and tips for parents and individuals who are concerned.
I want to talk about the panel because you have a very impressive panel of people coming in, but you have the pulse of the teens because they come in here to the Annex. Do they talk to you a lot about what's going on, things they might not tell their parents?
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's usually easier for a teen to talk to another trusted adult than their parents. Not always. And we like to facilitate communication between parents and their teens,
right,
and vice versa. But often it's easier to talk to someone that you don't live with every day.
Yeah. So this kind of gives you also an easier way to kind of bring these issues up to the parents, and then everybody can talk about them together.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. There's a lot of unawareness really of what's going on in the youth culture. The teens sort of have their own subculture, I call it, of
right,
society,
yep,
and there's a little bit of a disconnect with the adult world.
Okay.
And so it's good to inform about what's going on and maybe how to keep them more connected.
Very good. Okay, let's talk about the people who will be here. I know you have Brandon Epp, who is one of the deputies from the Lomita Sheriff's Department, and who else? We've got Charles Reed.
Charles Reed is an officer from Palos Verdes Estates.
Oh, he's an officer as well. Okay.
Police Department,
all
and
right,
he actually teaches the student in the law class at PV High.
Okay, so you've got actually one that teaches it at Peninsula High and one from PV High. Very
exactly.
good. Okay.
So just kind of representing the two different law enforcement areas in the Peninsula.
Okay.
And then George Bird, who's an attorney in the community, and
okay,
also is PVE city councilman. In addition, he's going to be on the panel.
Okay, and that's interesting. The police officers all, obviously offer questions and answers about legal things, but an attorney, that's an interesting component.
Yeah, George is very aware of what goes on with kids, and and kids they get in trouble.
Yeah.
With the law, often end up in his office, and he's trying to guide the kids and trying to guide the parents too. So he has a pulse too on what's going on with kids.
It's interesting. We've talked to Deputy Epp before, and he teaches that class at Peninsula, and he said that sometimes in the course of a class, the kids are more likely to ask a question about, well, is this really breaking the law? Is that really a bad law to break? He really does. He talks to the kids every day, so they're more comfortable asking him questions. Which is good.
Definitely. We've done different panels before, and when we have the legal component of it. Like we've had a juvenile judge before on the panel, as well as attorneys and law enforcement. The parents and kids are very interested in the laws and what's law, what's illegal, what's not illegal, and that kind of thing.
What do you think are the biggest challenges facing teens and parents today?
Well, I think this is a unique community from different ones in terms of the stress that's on kids. Okay, it's a high-achieving, high-academic focus is the main thing. Kids are involved in a lot of school stuff, a lot of extracurricular stuff, sports, service, and so when you have that, you have success and you have high achievement and aiming for these great colleges. Okay. But then the underside of that is a lot of stress reduction that's tried to find by the kids, and a lot of times that leads into unhealthy activities. So there's a lot of drinking. There's drug use, there's parties on the weekends, and as any teens, the part that's common for kids everywhere is kids live a high-risk life. Every weekend something can happen. The way they drive, the choices they make, their brain isn't fully developed, and they do a lot of dangerous stuff. And so, when us who work with kids who are struggling and families are struggling, we see a lot of the difficulties that are going on with them.
It's interesting to think about the fact that kids underachieve, but the overachievers have their own stress levels as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. The district here is looking at that element, and they're involved in trying to not only achieve high academically, but also try to find a way to reduce some of the stress and maybe how things are organized or how schedules are made. with kids and how they're learning.
Do you find that it's difficult for teens that are sort of overstressed and have a lot of work to tell them to relax, to go have some fun, to do something to kind of alleviate their stress?
Yeah, the word play is actually not found in a lot of our lives, even adults.
Right.
You know, playing is maybe thought of as being lazy, or playing is for little kids, you know, like in preschool.
Right.
But if we don't have time to play or time to relax and time to, you know, get away from work and responsibility, then we get too much stress going on, and that leads to a lot of unhealthy physical problems, mental problems, emotional problems, relational problems, and then, as you'll hear, is legal problems too.
So get the Monopoly game out and everybody can take part together.
That's a very healthy activity.
Yeah.
Just so simple things. I mean, there's a real emphasis in our whole country on a slowing down, even though, well, it's speeding up, and you see it with how many people like to go to yoga now.
Right,
you know, because we're so over the top with performing. You know, us and Japan are the countries that work the most, that spend the most hours working and take per week and take the least amount of vacation time off. And so, yeah, we're very work-oriented and achievement-oriented, and it's really over the top.
Yeah, which is all good in perspective, but we tend to take it over, I guess.
Yeah, and so what we see with a lot of kids is the way they blow off steam, the way they relax, the way they chill out. You know what that means, right?
I do. Yeah, yes, chilling out. I know what it means. I don't do it very much, but yes, I do.
Yeah, is same way an adult is by drinking.
Yeah.
You know, blowing off steam. And
Right.
But a lot of the teen drinking isn't drinking; it's getting drunk.
Right,
you know, and then there's a lot of other, you know, dangerous stuff that goes on with kids, and so they've kind of lost maybe the way to have healthy fun.
Right.
And that's what a lot of what we're doing, as you know, with Freedom for You, is trying
Right.
to find healthy activities, safe, supervised activities that kids can actually have fun, enjoy themselves with their friends, but there's not substance use involved in it, and it's a, you know, a healthy alternative.
Right, absolutely. Now, the forum's going to be open to parents and teens, is that right?
Yeah, it's anyone in the community. It's really a community presentation. That's why we're kind of framing it, shaping it that way. So anyone who's concerned about kids or wants to know what's, you know, hear from the professionals on the panel can come.
Okay, so basically, is it a situation where everybody comes in? I know there's refreshments being served, and so they can ask, how will it be kind of set up?
Yeah, we're all going to make a presentation about our experience and what we see going on, and then there'll be time for question and answer.
And the forum is going to be open, of course, to all parents and teens. It will be, again, Wednesday, February 15th at 6:30 to 8. That's in the community room, which is below the movie theaters on the promenade at the Peninsula. Greg Allen, thank you so much for being with us. We'll be there and see what the forum is all about.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, great. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time around the Peninsula.